Back in Houston, Texas, Telspin Family YMCA men's third place senior final between Marco Chavez and Andy Schad. My name is Dave Vincent, alongside Dave Fink for this ESPN Watch ESPN app match as we get ready for the men's finals. This is bonus coverage for you here in Houston, Texas. Men's finals between Paul Brady and Sean Lenning. Of course, that will be up in 1 hour from right now. In the meantime, though, round of applause for the introduction of the players. Andy Schad, Washington, D.C., and Marco Chavez from Southern California.
Andy Schad. One game to 25, halftime at 15. Good luck, gentlemen.
Referee is Anthony Celesta.
0.
And it's official. Marco Chavez has served his 1,000th serve of this tournament.
Second serve.
I was thinking that we should cue the streamers. Let's go ahead and give that trophy and that presentation. Dave, I know that you make a trophy for everything.
I like for people to go home with something, even though it's never me.
We'd like for you to go home.
Yeah.
So there's always that. How we think about you.
Point.
Marcos just seems to get better,
well, you know,
as the tournament goes on.
Yesterday, Marcos played the 5th place final and just was completely worn out. I mean, couldn't even swing. Never seen him like that.
Point.
And looks like he's rejuvenated today. Whatever he did in his post-match cool-down, warm-up worked. So
2, play 0.
looks very fresh. He was here early this morning, Dave, actually opening the door for the staff. While we have a moment here, Dave, before this match gets into the trenches. We want to thank Marco Chavez for all the work that he's done for us throughout the weekend. He sat in the booth. He's been a great asset.
Taking pictures for us on side courts. Actually, anything we ask. This is a match right here that Marcos was originally scheduled to play Andy Schad on at 9 o'clock this morning, local time. And there was an opening in the broadcast schedule due to some confusion or a mix-up or something. I haven't heard the official word yet, but they're filling in. And Marcos told me originally last night, no, I want to play at 9 o'clock tomorrow. He has a flight, and he doesn't want to think about the flight and all the other stuff. You know, Dave, how that is.
2, play 0.
Start worrying about missing your flight, getting to the airport, and it takes you out of your game. He wanted to play at 9 o'clock, but then he made the concession, and I didn't even have to beg him. He just said, you know, I'll do what's best for the WPH.
3, play 0.
That's a direct quote. I'll do anything for you guys, you know that.
So good. Point. 4, play 0.
And that conversation text happened about 1 o'clock in the morning. I think I woke him up and
breakfast time.
Well, no, I was trying to sleep and the phone vibrated, and I just said, you know, there's just so many loose ends that are open, and I decided to kind of half wake up and read it, and it was him, and so we had a text exchange at 1:30 or so. But
Five, play 0.
And Andy Schad also, Dave. You know, we're talking about Marcos. Andy also made that concession. He said, if you need me to do it, I'll do it. He told me very early yesterday.
6, play 0.
And then he was here this morning to say, do you want me to help ref a couple matches? He's equally been very generous. Andy Schad now serving the ball here with a skip in from Marco Chavez. Andy wants to get these matches in. He wants to play guys like Marcos. And that's what's also great about this playoff format that we have.
0, play 6.
As Dave is now going to go to the mobile man on the street mic. But the playoff matches allows these players who are flying across country to face up against somebody that they may have never played before or would like to play to get some experience. And Andy's just really looking forward to the playoffs if he loses. Of course, he wants to win the tournament. But he said specifically, now I get to play, you know, a lot of the guys I watch playing on the Pro Tour.
Hold on, bad bounce. Bad bounce, and hit the seam. Andy serves. Excuse me. No, that's all right. Yeah, no, you did the right thing. Thank you. Over ball 0-6.
It's a 1-game match to 25, win by 2. 0 serve 6. Andy Schad with the blue headband serving here. Nice serve. Now on the scoreboard, Dave. How can Andy just continue to do that serve down the right? I think he fooled Marcos thinking that, you know, Marcos thought he was going to go to the left there. Beautiful shot from Marco Chavez. Power down the right side. Had Andy pinned to the left. And they're calling for a towel. Dave Fink is courtside with his
you're right about there in the service box,
mobile
right
microphone.
Yeah.
Want to do a test with him to make sure he can hear and talk. Dave?
I have been talking, Dave, but
well, not really.
Well,
you might think you were, but you really weren't.
One of our top 5 race for 8 pros, Mondo Ortiz, and Marco Chavez protege was listening.
Okay. Well,
Mondo, you have a chance to check out your mentor and a guy that you really look up to and play a lot. What do you look for? What do you look for and learn when you watch a match like this?
Hey guys.
Point.
First of all, you know, Marcos, you know, I always looked up Marcos since I was a kid. Him and
7
Vince
plays 1.
always sat down in the front of the courts, watch him play nonstop. And you know, I noticed that they just, you know, they're like a shirt and shoot kind of guy. You know, they love to control the game, and this was exactly what Marcos doing. He's putting a lot of pressure on him. And
Mondo, let's talk about you for a second. Last year, you were the breakout star of the Race for 8 Tour, culminating with that amazing win over Paul Brady. You're off to a slow start this season. Is it the pressure of trying to live up to what you did last season? Have you not been as healthy, not as fit? What's going on thus far early in the season?
It's pretty obvious, you know. I gain a lot of weight. I don't put much pressure on myself. You know, I don't tend to think that way, you know, and I just get everything go flowing. But, you know, I gain a lot of weight, slow down, ate a lot of junk food during the holiday, but I'll be back in shape.
7 plays 1.
Mondo, your next stop is going to be in San Francisco, where we'll see Marco Chavez as well. He'll be a top 8 invite there. You look great in your quarterfinal match against Sean Lenning, winning that first game almost 15-0. I think it was 15-2. Then it just kind of went away for you. What can you do to maintain that level that you had in the first game throughout an entire tournament?
It's like, you know, it's like I said earlier. You know, I gained a lot of weight, and you know, I didn't get a lot of cardio in. See, I come out blasting in the first game, but it doesn't help in the second or third. So staying in shape is the key. It's legs, legs, legs.
You're known as one of the most prolific kill shot artists in the sport, able to end the rally from anywhere on the court with either hand. Is that the way you were taught to play, or is that a style that you sort of just developed as you discovered your handball talents?
I mean, yeah, it developed over the years, but I've always been that guy to serve and shoot. You know, and then eventually in time I'll throw a pass or something shot. But yeah, I always capitalize on the first opportunity. I'll try to put it away.
Mondo Ortiz, thank you very much. We'll let you get back to enjoying this match. Dave.
Yep, thank you. As you're seeing some first striking and serve and shoot styles from one of his mentors, Marco Chavez, but Andy Schad trying to ground and pound just the same to get some points on this scoreboard. Men's 3rd place for the senior 40+ going on now live on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. That interview with Elite 8 Pro Mondo Ortiz from Dave Fink there in the grandstands courtside as they watch this match live as we do. Terrible shot from Andy, and Marcos doesn't make him pay there, but does there. And there's a side out.
Side out.
If you're going to open up that palm of your hand and go for that little splat left corner kill paddle, you better keep the ball down, because as you see with Andy, he went for what he thought was going to be the perfect shot and hit it about 2 or 3 feet high. And Marcos then started blasting balls. You have to hit it 2 inches high. And if you can't do that consistently.
I'm here courtside with a Race Freight finalist, Sean Lenning. He'll be taking on Paul Brady in just about 45 minutes. Sean, yesterday you had one of the most unbelievable performances that we've ever seen, probably in the history of the race tour, taking out Luis Moreno 15-3, 15-2. You'd never defeated Luis before in the race. What was the difference yesterday?
I don't know. I was calm and motivated and moving my legs well. Things like that.
Sean, you've played Paul Brady in 2 really close matches at the U.S. Open. 11-10 you lost in 2007. 11-9 you lost in 2012. What do you need to do to get over the hump against the Gunner?
I think now that I'm in shape, it's like starting over. You know, this is a kind of a new territory for me, so I think I'll be okay. Like, I'm not saying I'll win, but
7 plays 1.
I like my chances better than I have in the past, for sure. So I just need to hustle. Hit my shot.
Paul spent some time in Tucson a couple months ago in November. You guys played a practice match. You take anything from a match like that coming into a big final like this, or is that just a session just to get some reps and a little workout?
Yeah, I'm not a good practicer. I don't really take anything from practice. I kind of need to be on stage.
I thought you guys made contact when you looked up at me, the
I'm
way
not
he kind of
very good on the
slid
stage,
after
but
that
I
ball.
definitely
You guys made contact.
more likely to put out. Like, the practice match meant nothing. He knows it, I know it.
You slid a little bit further up.
Sean, we really appreciate you taking a quick word with us as you prepare for your upcoming final. I know that we can't wait for it. It's your first final since the Race Freight 1 season. I think we all knew at some point you'd be back, and you're back even better than ever. So, Sean, good luck. We can't wait to watch you play at your very best. Dave?
Yep. Thank you.
7 plays 1.
Not a lot of controversy here, but kind of a strange call from the referee who inadvertently called over on a play that really shouldn't have been, and one player stopped and the other one went for it and got a point. What we thought was a point. And the referee said, yeah, I did say hold it and I didn't mean to, and they replayed it.
Point.
Andy Schad really putting a lot of effort out here, and he's not getting points for that effort. Every time he goes to the ground, it's either reversed by the referee or Marco Chavez scores or gets a side out. Those are frustrating.
8 plays 1.
Andy Schad, Dave, a perennial qualifier in the 1990s, made it as high as number 12 at one point. Had virtually the same game he has now, but his back wall kill not quite as sharp as it used to be. It used to be known as back wall Andy. Still has not yet discovered that back wall kill since the hiatus he took for 4 years up until last year. Still has that amazing hustle and legs, but struggling to end the rallies. And against these top players like Nadia Alvarado or Marco Chavez, if you can't end the rally, you're just going to be doing a lot of running and not a lot of scoring.
Well, they should call him unfortunate Andy, because every single time he wins a point, it gets reversed, and the last time was with a broken ball. Now let's see what the reversal is going to be here.
Side out.
Maybe call him Black Cloud Andy. I mean, it doesn't have a rhyme to it, but.
1 plays 8. Short ball.
One game match to 25, win by 2. Andy has Marcos on the ropes here.
Point.
Schad dictating the flow. That rally ends up winning the point. Now
2 plays 8.
2-8 is what the scoreboard should say.
Short ball.
Even though it doesn't.
Second serve.
Beautiful kill shot, Marco Chavez down the left wall. Score should be 8-2.
8 plays 2.
Just cannot give Marcos those huge back wall setups. He's got one of the best back wall shots in the sport.
9-2. Short ball.
That's what they call him, back wall Marcos.
He agrees. Second serve.
Marcos has corrected that foot fault problem. Told me he went back to his room and studied tape. He said his footwork just wasn't right in the service box yesterday. He was taking a longer step with his left foot than he likes to take. He said it actually hurts him, gets him out of rhythm. So he's corrected that and shortened up his stride.
Point.
He said he serves better when he keeps himself
10 plays
inside
2.
the box.
Nice return shot there from Schad. I thought it was a nice strategic move for Chavez to have his shoe painted the same color as a short line. It's a little bit harder for the referee to understand where the shoe begins and the short line ends. Thought that was a really good move.
Second serve.
Not every club, Dave, has the red line. Sometimes they're black or other colors.
Really?
I know you don't, you're colorblind and everything looks gray to you. I mean that in such a negative way, but I know you took it positively.
No, I didn't at all.
Oh, you didn't? You took it the way it was meant.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 plays 2.
I'm just trying to think of one court I've ever played on out of the 3,000 that didn't have a red line for the service box.
Okay.
Just one.
10 plays 2.
Indoor, that is.
There's some white lines out there.
Ball.
I'll look forward to seeing those. It'll be a first.
10 plays 2.
That's the worst shot you can hit there if you're Marcos. So close to the front wall. And he drives the ball right at Andy, who has the whole court.
You're watching the Race for 8, streaming live on ESPN, the Watch ESPN app. Want to say hello to El Gato tuning in and watching the live broadcast with his family. John Bike and Lupita, those back in the high desert and all around the United States watching this feed. Dave, I know you're getting texts. Rob Pierce on the board of directors with USHA at the airport in Chicago watching on his mobile device.
Short ball.
Andy Schad's family watching back home in Washington.
Second serve.
That's a great back wall kill shot there from back wall Andy.
3 plays 10.
Good job.
Marcos put an end to that. Dave, you earlier were able to talk to Sean Linning
10 plays 3.
as he gets prepared for this, and you said, you know what? What's the difference now? You have played Paul before. What can you do to overcome it? And he said, well, I'm in shape now. You know, I might not win. I'm not saying I'm going to win, but I'm going to definitely, try to win. And I think I feel better. Let's see how the new me reacts to this new body style, and let's see what I can do.
Side out.
I mean, I guess that's the best you can give for an answer. I mean, everything
10.
is a new learning process in his words, because he's never been in shape and he's never really taken care of his body, and now he is. So that should be exciting.
Now, I think this is Sean Lenning 2.0. He's always had the amazing skill set. Now he's combining that with the discipline and the fitness. And, you know, he's the guy to watch. I was surprised that he had a slow start at the U.S. Open and also in Tucson. But I knew it was only a matter of time before we'd see him in the finals, and I believe winning at least one race stop this season.
Three plays 10.
Dave, I know you don't travel up to the northern part of Arizona often unless it's a family trip that you really don't want to be involved in, that you also instigated.
Yeah.
But the Flagstaff Athletic Club has black lines.
Point.
Played in a
So that's what you're doing in there.
Well, that's why you hear these long gaps.
Yeah.
Going through video archives.
Oh.
I know I've seen it. I've seen a lot of white lines. I'm surprised you haven't, because maybe you're getting them confused with tennis, where you see them all the time, but there are courts that have white lines.
Point.
In fact, tweet. Okay, I'm not going to go there.
5 plays 10.
As a matter of fact, the LA Athletic Club has white lines.
Okay, so even though you've played in all these courts,
So it's a thing.
that was actually a foot fault there.
Second serve. Foot fault.
There it is, and a foot fault called from the referee as well. I saw it on the first one, but it was short. That one definitely over.
10 plays 5.
Dave, at halftime, we're going to have a word with our referee for the Race for 8 final, Luis Cordova. See what goes through his mind as he prepares to referee one of the biggest matches of the year. He'll also be informed that his paycheck will be a donation to the WPH, so we'll thank him at the same time as interviewing him.
Yeah, he should be on the court right now playing this match. Right now for 9th place.
Point.
I knew that he was in the building because I can hear his kid yelling all through the facility right now.
11
Marcos
plays
can
5.
as well.
Well, Marcos notices if you're 1 inch over the short line with your feet, so
While doing
actually
a power
nothing.
serve.
Yeah.
While also doing it himself.
Point.
I.e. foot faulting every time he serves.
Well, you know what they say, that you really only hate what you see in yourself.
Well, that explains it, Dave.
I think it pretty much sums it up for everyone on this headset.
I almost took my headsets off. Just went right to the airport.
Very nice wide angle kill from Andy.
Five plays 12.
Boy, that ball had a wrinkle on it.
Oh, terrible shot from Marcos. And that looked like one of your shots, Dave, but about 19 feet lower.
Well, he hit every single wall you could possibly hit in handball except for the one that you need to hit in order to make it legal.
5.
I guess they call that the party ball kill.
It's called a splat shot. I've never seen anybody do it in tournament play until I one time dared Marcos to do it for cash.
Point.
And he did it as a walk-off to win a match. And then immediately, not even before the door shut on the court, he was in asking for his money. And I said it knowing that nobody's ever done it before.
Yeah.
Marcos waited to the right time to do it.
2 minutes.
I was about, half a second away from winning 50 bills on that one. I had to pull my wallet out, which I've never done before. So I want to thank Marcos for that. You're watching this live broadcast on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. My name is Dave Vincent. Courtside, the man on the street, Dave Fink, has his handheld microphone, and he's catching these players and the fans and doing what he does. I think we have a 2-minute glove change. We're not at halftime yet. But I really like that Marcos is prolonging this because we have to stay on schedule, and we were a little early. So Marcos letting Andy Schad get back into it here just a little bit. Dave, you get to feel the buzz courtside. You've been talking to the players out there. You were able to see Sean Lenning. It sounded like, and we're unable to see from our position, but it sounded like Sean Lenning was eating at the time that you interrupted him.
He was chomping on some seeds, says that gives him energy.
Sounds like he's on the paleo.
Sean has gone to veganism, Dave. He's very strict about his diet. Andy Schad is putting 3 gloves on each hand right now. Not liners, but actual gloves.
I'd like to do a cover story sometime about these handball players. Some like to wear literally no gloves if they can get by with it. Others, like Dave Chapman, Andy Schad, like to put so many different layers of gloves on, and they feel comfortable. Others, if they try to do what Andy's doing, would not even, wouldn't even last a point before they called a timeout and took them off. I'd like to see all the different thoughts that people have regarding why they prefer what they do prefer. This is a 2-minute glove change right before that forced halftime 2-minute,
All right,
3-minute
guys, play
timeout.
resumes. 13 plays 5.
Support. Oh, no.
Point. 14 plays 5.
No, you don't.
Short.
But, okay, you do now.
Second serve.
Marcos trying to get 1 point now to go into halftime at 15-5, and there's a side out from Andy Schad. Rolls it out down the right wall. It was an overhit second serve from Chavez. Andy Schad from Washington, D.C. Lived in Tucson, Arizona for a short time. Dave, when you went to college in Tucson back in the 90s, Andy lived there at the time, right?
Andy and I used to play twice a week, as a matter of fact, almost 20 years ago. But you say Andy's from Washington, D.C. He's from the world, really. He's lived everywhere, including the Middle East, for about 4 years.
6 plays 14.
He's got a wonderful family back in the D.C., Virginia area right now that are watching. We want to say hello to them. I know, Dave, that they were one of your favorites on the WPH holiday video.
Well, he got his whole family involved on that. I thought that was pretty interesting. Well, he has a great supportive family that travels around with him. As you recall, Dave, one of his daughters will always travel with him on one of these trips. And when he first saw me here in Houston, he said, guess what? I have nobody. I'm all alone this time. And I thought back, when was the last time Andy went to a tournament where he didn't bring a family member?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Well, this is the first tournament I can recall. So
14 plays 6.
And Marcos will go into halftime with a 15-6 lead, and Dave, that gives us an opportunity to talk to our Race for 8 head referee for the men's final, Paul Brady and Sean Lenning. Luis, what goes through your mind as you prepare to ref a huge match like this?
I just try to stay focused and so that I don't get too many bad calls, hopefully.
Now, from a fan's perspective, what do you expect? You've played both these guys. In fact, you played Paul Brady at this event. You saw what Sean Lenning did to Luis Moreno yesterday. Could this be Sean's day?
Yeah, it seems like I play Paul Brady every tournament I come into. And I think from looking at Sean yesterday, I don't know, hopefully. We'll see. If we see yesterday's Sean today, then he might pull out in a tiebreaker.
Paul Brady obviously is always good. Doesn't seem like in this particular event he's at his absolute best, not at least thus far. It seems like if Sean's going to beat him, today very well could be the day.
Yes, definitely. It seems like today could be the day out of all the tournaments lately. It seems like today is his chance.
Let's talk about you for a second, Luis. You qualified again. Unfortunately, you pulled Paul Brady's name out of the hat. Your brother, though, qualified and advanced to the round of 8 and actually took 5th place. How good does that feel that you became the first brothers in the history of the race to qualify in the same event? You did that in Tucson. Now your brother takes 5th place. You got to be really proud.
Yeah, it makes me happy. I was talking to him, and the highest I've ever placed is 6th. And on his second qualifier, he already placed 5th, so he already beat me. And I'm happy for him. Everybody asked me, "Oh, does it hurt that he got higher than you?" I'm like, no, of course it doesn't. It makes me happy.
I think you actually take more pleasure in watching your brother do well than you do your own success. I see you watching every one of your brother's matches. Very cool. And we're going to see both of you in San Francisco, I believe, in 3 weeks?
Yes, you'll definitely me, and he's working on it. And about the pleasure thing, definitely. When I see his games, I'm nervous. On my games, I'm just playing his, brother love.
Luis, thank you very much. I know you've got a tournament coming up in Juarez, Mexico that we want to talk about the weekend of March 27th. So if you're around that area, it's a beautiful club. It's going to be an amazing tournament. The WPH may be involved in some way in that tournament. We hope that we can be. But Luis, we're going to let you focus. I know you'd like to do your Zen thing before a match and get yourself ready for your refereeing. So we're going to let you take off, and we're just about ready for the second half here. So for Luis, Dave Fink, Dave, back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Marco Chavez has that lead, and they're calling for him here to get back into the court for the conclusion of his 40 senior third place match against Andy Schad. He has that lead 15-6. It's a 1-game match to 25, win by 2. Players do like this 1-game format to 25, it seems now. And others are into that 15-15 format in the pros. So it seems like things are starting to work out here with the players and their format preferences. The seniors absolutely love the 1-game to 25 after a little bit of friction at the beginning. But nonetheless, they're getting back in. We'll get those court sounds up, and the referee will call these players back into the main court to get the conclusion of this third place
Andy
bonus coverage that we're
to
giving
start
you
the
on
second
ESPN
half.
as we get ready for Paul Brady versus Sean Lenning. I said Lennon, didn't I? Well, Beatles fan at heart, I guess.
You guys ready? Play resumes. 6 plays 15. Side out. 15 plays 6.
We're at 15-6.
Side out. 6 plays 15.
Andy Schad finally serving here at 6-15. And that was a foot fault. No call from the referee. Andy really goes over the line. You see a lot of the big ball players in New York or Southern California that are converting over to four-wall routinely throw their bodies into the serves, and that's what you see from Andy Schad when he serves. That's why I feel Marcos goes over the line so much. Also, that rule really doesn't exist in big ball. I mean, even though it's enforced at times at certain tournaments, the players
side out 15,
ignore that
6.
foot fault line.
Short ball. Second serve.
Amazing shot there from Marcos, Dave.
Point.
He flicked his wrist just at the last second, put the overspin on that shot. He catches the right corner about 4 feet from the front wall, but just the perfect amount of spin and a flat rollout.
How creative is Marcos as a player? You've played him so many times. Is it frustrating when he does some of that stuff?
I think it's fun.
Over ball 16, play 6.
That's another great shot. Marcos takes a lot off of the revolving door there. Andy's expecting Marcos to either go high or back down the right. Marcos just flicks his wrist.
Short.
Well, we saw that little flick of the wrist from Marcos in Tucson when he defeated Nadi Alvarado. Nadi worked a hinder off of one of those flicks. As you might recall, late in that game, one of the pivotal points for that argument that became well publicized between those two.
Point.
And bad luck, Andy just cannot seem to win one of these rallies. Every one of these rallies is 8 shots or more, seemingly, but
18-6.
It's Marcos winning almost every one of them. And that time, Andy lines up a straight right kill.
You guys, there's a big wet streak right there, right? Andy, right where your left foot is, right there.
Dave
right
Fink
there
is courtside. If you just tuned in with the mobile microphone, I wouldn't call you a sideline reporter. You're more of the man on the street. You will just randomly talk to anybody.
It's a side out ball.
And that's what we love about you.
We have 6, plays 18.
I don't want to be that guy that overdoes the talking to everybody, though.
I don't know what's ever stopped you before.
I know what stopped you.
What was that?
Well,
I'd like to know myself.
Well, it's some combination of, I believe, Asperger's, social anxiety disorder,
There's more,
Tourette's, obsessive compulsive disorder.
I disagree with Tourette's, but I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
18, plays 6.
You see, Andy gave that look back to the referee as if he wanted a screen, I believe, Dave. Marcos gets a right corner kill skip in.
Six, plays 18.
Earlier today in the men's senior final, it was Nadi Alvarado defeating Tyler Hamill 25-20 after an entertaining match. Here is the men's 40-plus senior third place fill-in match. Bonus coverage on ESPN and a little flick-in miss from Andy. Dave, earlier you said back in the 20 years ago when you played Andy Schad 2 or 3 times a week in Tucson, Arizona, he was known as Backwall Andy. Was his left hand also developed off the back wall, his offhand?
He did have a good offhand off the back wall, but it was mostly that shot right there that made him famous, that right-handed kill from anywhere. If the ball touched the back wall, the rally was pretty much over.
18.
Dave, we've got WPH Race for 8, number 3 Emmett Pashot here courtside as we watch this third place senior match and also preview the upcoming final between Sean Lenning and Paul Brady. Emmett, you played Paul Brady yesterday. That was the 5th time you've played him in 10 months. Did you see any difference between yesterday and the previous encounters over the last year?
Difference in terms of myself, I think. I think that he played relatively the same.
7 plays 18.
I'm figuring things out a little bit more. That was probably the closest I've ever come to beating him in my entire life. I've gotten 17 points before in one time in Kansas City. But yeah, getting 13, and I really felt I was going to win that second game. I'm not saying I was going to win the tiebreak or anything, but at least taking a game off him would have been a huge step for me since I've never done that. And that was definitely the closest I've ever come.
Somehow this became all about Emmett, Dave, but...
Well, you asked the question, he's answering it.
Okay. Sean Lenning is his opponent today. Sean and you have played for over 20 years. You've seen Sean at his very best. You've seen Sean when he's not at his best. Right now it looks like he's right at where he was in 2007 and 2008 when he was a dominant wrecking force. We saw what he did to Luis Moreno yesterday. Is this Sean's chance to take out Paul Brady?
It's definitely his chance. Sean's a great player, and he's finally showing that determination we've been waiting for the past 3 years. And he's fit, he's determined. It could definitely be his chance.
If you're coaching Sean Lenning, and you had one piece of advice to give him for today, what would that be?
18 plays 9.
I would just say stay focused and focus on just watching the ball to your hand, because he can tend to lose his confidence a little bit when it gets really close.
I have to put you on the spot here and ask you for a prediction.
It can go either way.
That's Emmett Pashot hedging from the street. Emmett, we're probably going to get a word with you also during the match, if that'd be okay. Love to hear your insights on what we see develop on the court. That match is going to start in just about 20 minutes. I know you're excited. Everyone here is also excited. Emmett, thank you. Dave, back to you.
Thank you. Men's third place senior final going on right now. Emmett Pashot being interviewed by Dave Fink courtside. You know, you see that big, long hesitation from Emmett Pashot when Fink asks, look at that backhanded flick from Marcos, as if that's the easiest thing you could possibly do, and he does make it look easy. But there's that hesitation when Dave says, you know, what can Sean do to beat Paul? Emmett really had to think about it. That's because
side out, 18 plays 9.
Those that have played Paul know that there is no formula. No one has figured it out yet. He doesn't have a hole in his game. The closest hole would to say that if you keep it close, you have a chance, but who's able to do that? There's a double fault from Marco Chavez.
9 plays 18. Short ball. Second serve. Point.
Another point for Andy Schad, now 10-18. Similar to last year's final match that Chavez played, where looked like he had a lead big enough to win, and then his opponent catching up, picking away, wearing him down. Frustrating shot there for Schad, who hits the ball on the ground. Side out, Marcos back in here.
18 plays 10. Point. '19 plays 10. Timeout, Andy, 1 minute. You will serve 10, plays 19.
The big men's finals coming up right around the corner as Paul Brady will be facing Sean Lenning here in Houston. Not only is this a first-time visit for Sean Lenning on a Pro Tour stop here with the Race for 8 since season number 1, but it's the first time the Houston fans have been able to see Sean Lenning go past the round of 16 since we started the Race for 8, and it's also the first time Houston has been able to see Paul Brady. So you're going to see a lot of fans, and you're probably going to hear a lot of cheering for both of these players. It's going to be really energetic, and we just can't wait for it. Scheduled to kick off in 9 minutes from now, but of course we allow the players to warm up after this match, and this one doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. Andy Schad now serving at 10-19. It's a one-game match to 25. You have to win by 2. It's the Race for 8 by Edel Handball. The stream provided by the World Players of Handball at WPHlive.tv.
All right, guys. Andy serves 10, plays 19.
But you're watching this feed on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app.
Point.
Of course, now the 11th point by Andy Schad.
11, plays 19.
Houston, Texas, downtown family YMCA, located in the heart of some of the biggest buildings you've ever seen in your life, and also the heart of nothing. No outdoor, no indoor shopping, no malls,
right,
no
go.
food
19,
establishments,
plays 11.
not even a Starbucks. You know that there's a Starbucks in every corner in every metropolitan downtown area, but not here in Houston. You have to literally drive out of the downtown area to go
20, plays 11.
find food and drink. It's just kind of a strange thing. Dave, you kind of experienced that too. Everything's a pretty big cab right away. You have the downtown people going into hotel lounges or going to hotel restaurants.
11, plays 20.
Maybe that's the way they want it. 11 to 20. Going to 25. I mean, that's not as... I'm not trying to give a terrible endorsement to downtown Houston, but
it sounds.
It doesn't
like a
sound
great
good.
place to be.
I'm not upset about it. I don't mind paying a $150 round trip cab ride to the mall, but I mean,
Kinderball.
Absolutely love that.
$11, plays 20 over. Little short. Second serve. $20, plays 11. Plays 20.
Andy with a terrible air there.
I was going to say, I figured you'd want that, to have him pinned there. 20 plays 11. Check the ball. Twenty plays 11.
And he takes that revolving door right into the knee of Marcos.
20 plays 11.
Marcos gives him another opportunity, but this time Andy wraps it to the right side wall.
Andy Schad doesn't go away. I mean, Marcos has this big lead for the last 50 minutes, and yet
11 plays 20.
Andy's forcing so many side outs. Was that the style that Andy had on the Pro Tour days, Dave?
Yeah, Andy's a grinder. I mean, he's the type of player that will just keep forcing you to hit an extra shot. He's never going to beat himself. And he's got great conditioning and great fitness.
Serve.
He's also got a beautiful right hand, as you just saw there. Andy wasn't able to play handball for 4 years living in the Middle East. Said he played mostly basketball.
11 plays 20.
But he's very fit.
Well, you can't get any different than handball, I guess, in basketball. That was a Marcos Chavez serve to Marcos.
Well, I think
from Andy.
As far as conditioning, basketball is very helpful for handball with the cutting and the starting and stopping. Particularly playing defense. And
you also remember the old days on the tour. Was Andy constant qualifier, or was he ranked?
Yeah, Andy was inside the top 15 for most of the time that he played.
20
Andy and I
12.
played in a qualified final in San Diego, 1997.
Hinder ball.
I recall Andy, my first encounter with him was at a tournament
20
in the
plays
early
12.
2000s. Here's Marcos has 20 to 12. I've always read about him in the handball book. Never crossed the path of Andy. And I just lost this really close match to Dan Armijo. And I was really upset with myself. And look at that shot from Marcos. Gets the ball back. Andy tries to step up, trips and falls, and hope that he's not injured here.
You all right, Andy?
And Andy came up to me and said, you know, you've got all the tools. I don't know why you're upset with yourself. You just got beat by a guy that everyone's got beaten by before. You know, he's came up and gave some advice, and I thought, who is this guy? And they said, oh, you're talking to Andy Schad. Yeah, don't be mad. You just got beat by somebody that has actually literally beaten everybody that's ever played handball. I don't know if that's Andy's backhanded way of saying you just beat an old guy or trying to give advice, but it seemed nice. Let's look at the replay here if we have it available. Looks like we don't.
That was a point. 21 plays 12. Point. 22 plays 12. Hinder ball.
Andy Schad throwing his body all over the court here. Paul Brady versus Sean Linney coming up after the conclusion of this. This is the one-game match to 25. It's the men's third place final. I kind of have a different take. Now, of course, Dave, love to see upsets, and I also am very happy that Sean Linney is in the better shape that he's in. But Paul Brady knows all of this stuff. He
actually has an earbud that's connected right to our feed.
Paul Brady.
That's what he's listening to when he comes into the club with that huge bag. He could fit 2 sets of golf clubs in that bag, but most importantly, he's listening to us on that iPod.
Yeah, he contends that he's not watched any video and doesn't study any tendencies, but Paul knows everything, and just in talking to him, he'll make references that he would only know if he watched some obscure handball video from 6 years ago. And so he's piped into the system, so he's probably, like you said, he's listening to this conversation. But Paul knows that Sean is gunning for him, and also Sean's in shape and rededicated himself. Paul also knows that Sean's the one guy that's given him troubles during the streak. I think you're going to see a top of the form Paul Brady. I know a lot of rumblings around the club is that Sean Linney has a chance. And I'm not saying Paul's going to squash him, but I think Paul's very cognizant of those of that hype that Sean Linney's getting. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as a lot of these guys say. This is the time. I think this is Sean. I have Sean winning this match. I mean, I'm hearing it from everybody. I don't think Paul's going to.
Want to go public with any of those names?
No, I don't. I don't think Paul's going to be able to put up with hearing that a lot. I think he has heard it a lot. And you know what Paul is like when he's motivated, and I don't think he's looking at this as like it's any other match. I know John Bike would say this is just practice, but
22 plays 12.
I don't think it is. I don't think Paul's going to treat it that way either.
Beautiful shot from Marcos.
Point.
You admire some of these right-handers, and you're a lefty, but they step in and hit that flat rollout with their left like that, and you say, that's pretty impressive. Yeah. Because he's breaking over the top of that ball to keep it down as well. A lot of control.
A lot of the top players, is now Marcos at match point, come over the ball naturally with their offhand.
Possible match
that's the
point,
sign
plays
that you are going to become a top player. Your natural stroke is that over-the-top motion.
I don't think there's an Elite Eight player that doesn't do it, doesn't have a defined natural or reverse as their natural motion. And there it is. Marco Chavez takes down third place. Andy Schad. And he wins that third place trophy. We are going to take a break for Dave Fink. My name is Dave Vincent as we get ready for the men's final, which will be coming up in about 10 minutes or so. These guys will probably take a good 15 minutes to warm up. So we'll come back live in 10. Stick around. More handball action in just a few in Houston, Texas.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darks there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.